Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Thanks for coming back and listening to our series on employment concerns in 2023. Hey JC, I have a question for you.
What's that?
What do you think is more needed or desired, a degree or actual workplace experience?
Ooh, wow, that's a tough one, right? How many times have we seen the recent college graduate with a master's degree step out into the workforce and they can't get the job because they want the master's degree with 7 years experience? It's a double-edged sword. It's the chicken and egg debacle all over again. And when you think about it, do you really want to bring aboard a college age, working on their diploma, working on their degree type individual and only utilize them as an intern? Don't you want to make the solid investment? It's really a tough call from both angles because people got to get the experience to. I would rather take the person with the experience.
Yeah, this is what I want to say to our listeners here today is you need to know what your company wants and you need to know what your managers want, and so, is there some kind of company policy that you need to have degrees? And please, if there is, fight to change that, because degrees aren't everything. You have people that are book smart and they have all these degrees, like myself. I have 3 degrees. And when I got my first master's degree, I had 0 experience. And then I started working at the bottom of the food chain. And I was very, very, very resentful because I was like, you told me I needed this degree to get in. And now I have the degree and I don't have the experience because I went to get the degree. And now I'm not making any money and I can't pay off this degree. So you need to, as a company, say, okay, let's step back. Let's be realistic. What do we really need here and why? Some roles, like maybe an engineer or an architect, they do need the degree because in order to get the state license, which you're requiring or you need to, get clients, then you need the degree. So I get that part. But, you could probably start them working for your company earlier so they can be getting experience while getting the degree.
Yeah. Very true. And when we think about a different sector, something I might be a little bit more familiar with, right? You got someone working on the model shop floor, right? They've been turning the lathe for the past 20 years, and they know what they're doing. They're not of retirement age yet. They're looking for a new opportunity. Am I going to take that experience to run my machines since they have so much of a background? It depends on my shop and the way I'm built out and what I'm looking for. When we transition over to the white-collar end of the spectrum and we start thinking about the C-suite, SHRM's Foundation actually has an HR apprenticeship program, believe it or not, Wendy. The program launched in 2021. It allows individuals to earn wages while receiving hands-on training to successfully fulfill high-skilled, in-demand HR positions. So for all those HR specialists out there that listen along, something you might want to talk to your C-suite about. But I've got some stats here for you in regards to the topic at hand. According to a recent research study conducted by the global HR solutions company Remote, skills-based hiring has increased 63% in the last year, as more employers value experience over academic credentials. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up because it is super important to know that a degree is not going to necessarily get you the experience. Now, you do have to talk to your candidates. Sorry, you do have to talk to them and say, and your employees too, and say, okay, well, tell me about your degree program. Because some colleges say, nope, you can't graduate from this college or this high school or this associate's program, whatever it is, without having internships, without having some kind of real life work experience, and other colleges don't. So regarding having any kind of certification or licenses, license is one thing, a certification is another. So I'll just say in HR land, because I'm in HR, I'm the HR land, but somebody can successfully complete a SHRM or an HRCI, for example, certification, but they still don't know how to put it in place in the real world.
Yes.
They can be really it's referred to as being book smart. And so you can be really, really good at studying and taking a test and memorizing it just for that test. And then boom, it's gone because you never really practiced it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's other people who say, you know what, I don't have the time. I'm a horrible test taker, but I am an expert at this. So I try, when my clients ask me like, hey, what should I be looking for in an HR coordinator, HR manager, HR director? I'm like, well, it depends. Tell me what you need, and then I will tell you if the certification is necessary or not. But 9 out of 10 times, and I'm sorry, I know many of you that are listening today have the SHRM and the HRCI accreditations. I do too. A lot of them, though, they're not really relevant for what you really need in that workplace. If you have the full-blown SHRM certification, but they're only doing recruiting, what? Why did you make them go through that whole painful process?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Yeah, and talk about the good old bait and switch, right? Bring the employee on for one thing, and then now they're doing something else altogether. Hey, you were talking about the salaries and the thought process there between degrees and experience. I do have some stats for you. The average salary.
I love stats. Bring it.
Average salary for a marketing role that requires a degree, according to some of the research that was done and conducted by Remote.com. Took a look over in the UK, and that average salary for the marketing role is £33,416, which is approximately $45,587 in the U.S., or roughly $58,000 as well. On the other hand, a candidate who doesn't hold a degree might be offered that same wage of approximately $33,000.
Yeah.
It represents a yearly discrepancy, and that discrepancy is very small. It's really only like $266 at the end of the day between the disparity between them. There's a lot of people out there with the skills. According to a recent study, top-paying jobs for those without a degree is that of an equities trader. Believe it or not, the financial sector role involves buying and selling stocks on behalf of a company and aid to meet their financial objectives, with the annual salary in U.S. dollar equivalent being approximately $75,000 and $98,000 in the UK. Second place is the role of a commodities trader who shares similarities with equities traders, but instead they deal with basic commodities. You're talking at approximately $69,000 in the U.S. or $90,000 in the UK. And rounding out the top three, ethical hacker. These cybersecurity experts are tasked with uncovering digital security weaknesses for organizations and enhancing their security strategies. Back to you.
Isn't that amazing that there's no degree required for those roles? And we probably, at least I do, I think highly, positive terms of those roles and thinking, wow, these people must be really, really smart. The point is you can be smart, you can be educated without a formal degree. So my opinion is don't get caught up in degrees so much unless it's absolutely mandatory. Say, for example, like I said, an engineer or an architect where you need that degree in order to get the license. And then states vary too with the licensures. So make sure you know what you really want, not just, oh, this is what we've always done, because guess what? What we've always done isn't going to be working here anymore. With that said, we are going to be talking in the next series about advice for employers and to make sure that you keep recruiting even if you have no openings.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.